This is Chizi, an orphaned black rhino and star of Chizi's Tale, Jack Jones's book to raise awareness of the plight of the black rhino in Africa.
Right now, there are only 5,000 black rhinos left in the world, and their number is quickly diminishing. And if people do not do something to prevent poaching, these majestic animals will be extinct within our lifetime.
3 years ago, Chizi was abandoned by his family, and then discovered by a park ranger and raised by his family in Africa.
Colin's a great mother. My dog looked like a great mother, but he certainly was a very good mother to Chizi. My name is Dr. Bruce, and I'm the ecologist from the wildlife reserve. Chizi required a huge amount of attention. When he was very tiny, he had to be fed frequently at night, so it's worse than having a human baby.
He's got a bad breath, man. He's not even 2 months old, this spin baby.
So yeah, I think Colin and Annie did a fine job.
We're just trying to get him to be as wild as he can be, having him ultimately in a year go back to the wild.
He's done really well. He has had a couple of encounters with wild bulls. We became aware of the incident of him being injured by a black rhino bull. We located him and I started talking to him. He immediately responded to me and ambled over to me. He then followed me to a shady patch where we managed to eventually get him to lie down, and he actually seemed to really enjoy the experience of being pampered and having his injuries checked, and literally just allowed us to lift his legs up and examine the injuries that were, inside his groin and in his armpits. One would hope that he's had enough experience to avoid bulls now, and his last incident that he had was fairly traumatic for him, and ultimately at this stage of the game he kind of has to do it alone.
I think with Chizi, when you raise an animal in your home, you learn a lot about that particular species. And I think we learned a lot about black rhino behavior, a lot about black rhino health.
From having raised this calf, I believe they're actually incredibly intelligent animals, but they really are scared of their own shadows.
I think as a result of that, we don't notch rhinos at 12 months anymore. Notching is cutting unique ear patterns into a rhino's ears so that we can identify them individually. We realized just quite how highly strung young black rhino are. So it's changed the way we manage our rhinos on our notching program.
There was another time where he was in an area which was causing a problem for us. I went there with the hope of trying to get him away from there. I stood at some distance and tried to disturb him. He, however, with the wind doing what it did, picked up my scent and knew exactly who was there and started calling to me, and at which point I responded to him and walked away from the position that he was causing problems at. And he followed me immediately. He was again extremely excited to see me, and his rhino love became a little much. No, Chizi, stop it. Chizi, stop it. Ultimately, that is the problem. These animals at this age are very big. I have no doubt they mean no harm. However, their size and their strength just is something that us humans are not able to take too much of, and his affection was getting the better of me, and I ended up having to climb a tree to get away from it. And so he literally stood at the bottom of the tree with his head on my foot and was in the process of going to sleep like that.
I think we honed our skills with rhino management with Chizi, and the same applies when we have a wounded male in the field. We take the opportunity to bring him into the hospital pen and treat him not because it's critical to our population, but because it hones our skills with moving and caring for rhinos.
He's been shifted around a little bit from the altercations that he's had with the resident bulls, but he seems to be quite content now in his new patch. I would like to think that his chances of survival are as good as any black rhino calf of his age. Of course, there's mixed emotions, but at the end of the day, I think from the very day that we took him on, the intention has been to get him back to the wild, and that is what makes me the happiest, to know that he's back out there in the wild. We do not want any further human contact with him. The idea is that he now is a wild black rhino, and we treat him as such.
Please support Tusk by reading your kids Chizi's tale.